All right, so I am here with Jake from Laurel Valley. That is where we get our premium compost as well as our enriched topsoil. And he's going to tell us about a few of the clips that we saw and then what we're standing in front of now.
Yeah, so we provide Delaware Hardscape with our enriched topsoil. It's a manufactured soil where we're blending native loam soils with our in-house compost. And our target is to manufacture a sandy loam soil as classified by the USDA soil triangle. Typically, there's a clay content of around, say, 12 to 15%, which is on the lower side, and an organic matter content of about 5% by weight. And that creates a really nice all-purpose soil that's got good drainage, but has enough organic matter in there so you have good moisture retention for the drier seasons. So it's kind of an all year round soil that'll perform good under many different weather conditions. And the compost also provides a lot of nutrients. So lawns that are constructed or landscapes that are constructed using this compost enriched topsoil do have slow release fertility basically built into the soil.
And then here, here's the compost. So we saw rows of compost, and then this is nice and black soil. So why is there rows? Why is it manufactured this way?
Yeah. So we make our own compost, and what we're doing is we're actually recycling mushroom compost. And mushroom compost is the growing media used for growing mushrooms. It's a specialized compost made out of hay and straw and some poultry litter, maybe a little bit of horse bedding, some corn cobs sometimes, cottonseed hulls. And then the mushroom growers will put that in their mushroom houses and then cover it with about a 2-inch layer of peat moss. And then they grow their mushrooms. When they're done, they start the process all over again. We get the used mushroom compost, and then we put it into these windrows here and turn it with a compost turner, doing what's called aerated aerobic windrow composting. And what's really nice about our compost is that it's very consistent because the ingredients are never changing. It creates a really nutrient rich but stable and balanced product. And we sell that as our premium compost in its pure form, which is great for top dressing lawns or rototilling into existing soils that might be sub-quality soils. You can kind of enhance bad soils with just rototilling and compost on site. And we also use it as our ingredient in manufacturing our enriched topsoil.
Now we get a lot of phone calls asking for raised garden beds, which I know you have a garden soil, which we don't carry the garden soil, but what alternative could somebody do for their raised garden bed?
Yeah, so I think one thing to remember is you never want to plant directly into pure compost. Compost should always be considered either as a top dressing or a soil amendment component, but not a standalone growth media. So for a raised garden bed, you'd want to use a blend of soil and compost. And we found that people like a richer soil than even our enriched topsoil. So our garden soil solves that problem. It's like 70% compost, 30% soil. And if you went to Delaware Hardscape, they could sort of recreate that blend by giving you, say, 2 scoops of topsoil and 1 scoop of our compost, blending that together. That would be a really great raised garden bed media. But this is the fall right now, and this is a great time to do lawn and turf renovations. We supply a lot of top dressing to schools and colleges and even professional sports teams this time of year, and golf courses where they're top dressing their lawns with the compost, and you can do residential as well. It was a very hard summer on lawns. There was some disease at some point due to humidity, but then we got into an extended drought period, and between the drought and the heat, a lot of lawns got really beat up. So adding compost for a fall lawn renovation or enhancement project is a great solution. You'd maybe want to aerate and overseed at the same time. But what the compost will do is it provides organic matter to your soils, which is good for 2 things. A lot of soils are compacted, and the organic matter will help build soil structure. The biology in the compost will get into the soil profile and help make a healthier root zone that has better porosity and more compaction resistance for the future. And it's got a lot of slow release nutrients that will feed that turf over time. So applying compost not only helps fix compaction, but also provides slow release fertility, and it also provides beneficial biology that helps with disease resistance for future situations.
And then just one more question on the compost. So you said it's a mushroom soil. We sometimes get people call that just say I need a mushroom soil, but how long is it actually aged? How important it is that you get that aged mushroom soil, because if not, what would occur?
That's a great question. So mushroom compost, as the mushroom farmers like to use it, is only half composted. And that product can be found in the marketplace. It's generally unscreened, stored outdoors, not reprocessed, used in certain situations, but probably should be avoided in others. What we do is, like I said, we put it in the windrows and we compost it further, about another 6 to 9 months, depending on the weather conditions and whatnot. But when we're done with it, it's fully mature, fully stabilized and broken down. It actually takes 2 yards of fresh mushroom compost to make 1 yard of finished, fully aged and stabilized compost. Then we store it indoors in this large building here, where it can be cured and stored out of the elements. It's not getting rained on, it's not getting weed seeds blown into it. It's sort of protected until it's ready to be used. But it's screened and we test it, so we know the consistency of it from an analytical standpoint, and there's not a lot of trash in it to begin with, but the screening process takes out any chunks or any unwanted soda cans or something that might have gotten mixed in by accident.
So I really appreciate you giving us this tour and letting everyone know that there's actually a science behind topsoil creation and compost creation, and that it's not just the soil that you see generally in your backyard, but when you order it, it's something more, and it's giving back to your ground, your soil, your garden, or whatnot.
Yep. Now it's been a good partnership. I think we've been supplying Delaware Hardscape Supply for almost 20 years now. There's been a lot of happy customers over the years. It's fun to see pictures of the projects that have been done. The big thing about being able to manufacture soil versus using virgin soil is the consistency. When you're just screening virgin soil, you're kind of only as good as the pile you're working off of, and you might have a great pile one month, and the next month you might not have such a great pile. What we're doing here is with the blending, we can we're constantly bringing in fresh topsoil as our inventory, and we can kind of blend it in a way, kind of like winemaking, where we're taking different raw materials, blending them together, and the output, the vintage, is always consistent, if you will.
Yeah.
So that's important for landscapers, and they need to be able to count on what they're getting time in after time.
Yeah.
So thank you.
All right, cool. Thank you.